Well, hello, 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 everybody. How are y'all doing on this fine Thursday? My name is Janine Hooks, and I am your business advisor for the Minority Business Assistance Center. So happy to see each and every one of you. Feel free to turn on your cameras. I would love to see your smiling faces. Um, we have the jazziest intro. Give me a thumbs up for that. That music just gets my day started. It makes me laugh a little bit because none of us look like that anymore. So I need to get some up-to-date pictures. But it feels nostalgic almost when we used to have in-person classes and meet at the building. But nonetheless, MBAC has found a way to pivot and to continue to serve you by bringing you good, relevant information for your small business. While we have quite the crowd today, I'm so excited because this is about getting some money, which I think might be why y'all decided to show up today. This is about being prepared and ready to go after the dollars that are floating around out there that we've never seen happen before. So I'm so happy to know that you are in the right place because we're going to bring some great information. I would like to introduce to you my friend, Stephanie Bridges. We met probably less than a year ago at a NAMAC construction meeting of all places. And I think we just became fast friends from that point on. She's a creative, she's an author, she's an inspiration. She is a serious businesswoman. And the reason that she's your presenter today is because she's going to be talking about things that she's done. So she's been there, done that. And she also helps people do this grant thing. So I thought she would be the best possible person to kind of talk about it and to present her experience. And this is real talk, y'all. This is not a propped up presentation. It's not glossy. It's not fancy. It's real. And by real, I mean you can take something away from this meeting and put it into an action plan immediately after. And that's what MBAC is here to do, to be your trusted resource partner, to bring relevant content and information to you. So I've talked a little bit about Stephanie. This is how we're going to roll this afternoon. She's going to have a nice presentation. It's going to be conversational. She and I might kick a couple of questions back and forth, but I don't want you guys to be shy. Not only do I want to see your faces, but I want to see your questions in the chat. And then I'll help manage the questions, and we'll have plenty of time to kick those things down the road with Stephanie before the end of our 45 minutes or our hour today. Does that sound good? Cool. Can I get a thumbs up? Can I get a shoulder shake? Yeah, are you with me? Awesome. Stephanie, I'm gonna let you take it over from here, girl. Go ahead and share your screen and let them know who you are and what you do.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you all so much for being here. I'm so super excited. I want to thank MBAC and especially Janine because we are good friends. And so when I have questions, when things are going on with me, she is one of my go-to people. And it's a perfect situation. And I'm giving y'all tips right now. It's a perfect situation because you definitely want to have colleagues and people that you work with that are also entrepreneurs and also artists and different things like that. But you also want to have colleagues and people that you can reach out to that are connected to agencies and organizations and foundations and large corporations. So don't just limit, yourself like, oh, we're all over here, it's us against them. That's not the situation at all. So whenever you can build those relationships, they are so crucial and so important, and gave me the opportunity to be here. So I'm super excited. I'm going to share my screen. Make sure you guys can kind of give me a thumbs up once I'm doing it right. So, welcome. This is straightforward strategy to secure the grant. And the reason why I called it that is because I just want to be as straightforward and transparent as possible. I'm not somebody that just, made the product, I also use it. So I'm in the same boat with so many of you. And I just want to make sure that, when rising tides go up, we're all able to go up together. So first thing, let's stay in touch. I don't want us to, get through the full presentation and then people not have information in order to find me or to learn more. So I have a website, which is securethegrant.com. There's some information there, some different products and services available. You can email me at info@securethegrant.com if you have questions, about today or questions about something that you see in regards to what's on my website. And then also, I would love, love, love for everyone to join my Facebook group. And you can just type in Secure the Grant. It's a free open group. And I drop links in there all the time and information in there. If someone asks me a question, I usually will put the answer in the group. So that's an excellent way for us to stay connected and communicate. Yeah, I think that might have been. All right. All right. So I definitely want everyone to know, like I said, I have some different opportunities, products, and services. But I think one of the foundations that would be an excellent thing to do is to get this book. It is seeking and securing individual artist grants and other funding. I am an artist, so I'm a poet and writer. And in that, I wanted to get funds, to see my dreams grow and butterfly and float up and float out. And so I started looking at grants. But then also the other part of that is I realized in order to make money as an author and poet and all these other, fun and exciting things, you have to be in business. So even though I started as an artist, I've definitely received more grant funding for my business. So I do have a publishing company, a LLC, and that's what I present 9 times out of 10 when I'm getting grants, because in this current climate, although the Columbus local GCAC, Greater Columbus Arts Council, has provided some, some small dollars, uh, people are funding, the CARES Act is funding businesses. So, and this book will definitely help you, whether you're a nonprofit, for profit, individual, artist, and you can get it at securethegrant.com. All right. So talk to me quick, don't talk to me slick. Now, that is basically, how I got to know Janine. That's basically what I told you in the previous slide. Let's connect, let's build a relationship. Now, some relationships you click with the person, right off and things are zoom and they go. And some relationships, it's kind of stale, it's kind of stagnant, it's whatever. But there are so many people that we meet who have opportunities for us. Sometimes we go into a situation like today, I'm sharing information with you, I have an opportunity for you, but I know as an educator, as an instructor, as a consultant, that my clients, that my customers, that my students always have more information for me. So when you go to secure the grant and join, or you send me an email, I'm just like you checking to see what I got. I'm checking for you too, because it's a two-way or three-way or five-way relationship. And we all get turned down, we all get denied, we all get put off. But in business, that's not a reason to stop a relationship. The next part of this is follow up. So speaking specifically about grants, but in business in general, follow up. People get busy, things, slide by. They might be about to get to you. Definitely reach out. I share information about grants, and when it's local, I'm like, y'all, dude, apply for this grant, apply for this grant, apply for this grant, because that's something I call low hanging fruit. So you always want to go for the low hanging fruit. But a lot of people will say, oh, I didn't hear from anybody or nobody, And I'm like, well, did you call them? Did you email them? Did you follow up? So that's an easy way to put yourself back on someone's radar. When you follow up, you might have an amazing question or you may not, but definitely reach out if you haven't, heard from someone, and be open to the feedback. Show your appreciation. So in my book, one of the questions is, what's the most important part of getting a grant? And my answer to that is what you do after you've received the check. That's the most important part of getting a grant. Now you're probably thinking, well, how is that so important? Well, it goes back to building those relationships. These people that we're in the room with right now, these government agencies, these nonprofits who are acting on their behalf, they know each other, they talk to each other, they share information. So, so they're going to remember the people who said thank you. And I recently did like a thank you card. And when I say, look, I'm telling on myself. When I say I try to put every organization ever on that one card, I tried to like do like one fest, like I was like, thank you, and oh yeah, and thank you, and we oh yeah, and thank you, because I knew I had to, thank everyone, but I'm concerned about my time and what it is I have going on as well. So I do plan on following up and doing some more individual thank yous, but show your appreciation in order to stay on people's radars. The other part of is what you do after the grant is the reporting part of it. So most grants, unless you just bout it like that,
No, I
and
do.
they're giving you this disposable funds and saying, here, we're gonna throw this money at you, do with it what you like. And I've never gotten one of those. Most grants, you made an agreement to do certain things with that funding. So it's easy. We are human beings. We go through all kind of struggles. Our tires pop off, our babies need diapers. There are things that come up that we have to do, but you have to be diligent and following through with utilizing the money the way that you said you were going to, and then also doing a follow-up report. Because again, the objective here is not to be one and done. Okay, it's not, oh, I got that money and now I'm gone. It's like, oh, I got that money, but that money's coming back next year, or that money is coming back next quarter, or oh, this agency, they shared this grant and that grant. Maybe if I do my reporting here over here, they'll let me get that one too. So definitely do your follow up, show your appreciation, and stay connected. You never know what might happen. And just one quick thing that I do want to state, I'm sorry, in regards to following up. I reached out to someone about one of the grants that were available locally, because they said I didn't meet the such and such and so and so. So I was like, and I could read. I seen I didn't fit it, but I was like, oh man, you mean I don't reach the so and so such and such? And they were like, no, you don't reach the such and such so and so. But there's another grant. So I was able to get thousands and thousands of dollars for with through another grant because I reached out and asked about that one. And they told me about something I didn't know. So all right. So the next
I'm gonna pop in.
yes, right ahead.
Because I want you to, I want to put kind of an exclamation point on a couple things that you just talked about. And that is the reporting out, right? So there isn't money that's just going to magically show up and you're not accountable to the grantee on what you've done with the money, right? Is that what you're saying to us, right?
Yes, yes, 100%.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Can you talk about some of the common themes across the various grants that you have won or were awarded that where your reporting out seem to be fairly consistent?
Okay, yes. So I am an artist and I'm a business owner as well, but specifically in our current situation, A lot of grants are going towards businesses. So those are, I'll tell you the top thing that I believe people want to give money to, and I don't even really have this going on, is in people businesses that have employees. So if you have a payroll that you have to, make up, or you're going to rehire someone, you had to lay somebody off and you're going to bring them back. If you're able to state you're going to use funding for that and then show that in your reporting, I was able to rehire such and such. Now, one of the things I am able to do, I'm able to contract with local businesses. So that is what I'll do with my reporting. I'll, send someone a W-9, have them fill that out. And then I can show, whether I pay them through PayPal or, through Zelle or however that was done. I can show that I contracted with the organization to assist me. And this is how much I've paid them thus far. And this is how much I, am going to pay them out for the rest of the months, because it's very seldom when you contract with someone that you pay for work that, well, I shouldn't say very seldom in my situation. So if I have a website developer, or if I have a photographer or someone like that, usually I'm paying them for work that is going to be done. So it's on a month to month basis. So I can show that in my reporting that this is how much I pay them, this is the rate, and I plan on, utilizing this fund. So it might not be just a receipt that everything is paid out. Also, I purchased a computer, so I was able to upgrade that. If there's, if you need office equipment or something like that, so anything for your business, you want to be able to access that reporting. It might be through PayPal. You might have your QuickBooks set up. You might have to, show like line items if you are not that organized yet, and like this is for this and that is for that. But make sure you have those documents. And for some grants, they are going to request numbers and information. Some grants are going to request receipts. So you just make sure you're ready when the time comes. And the sooner you can do it, the better. Because what's going on now, excuse me, because there's so much money coming through this artery in this way, and we can talk about why that is, or why it should be and shouldn't be, or shouldn't be. But because they're providing funds this way, a lot of that money has to be used. So if it's CARES Act funds, they got to spend that money. So they might be asking you for reporting sooner than what would usually happen if it was just, something that was going to happen once a year. Like, oh, we'll get your report in 6 months or 12 months. But you got to think, if they got money coming down, they're, and in my book, I talk about they're trying to give different people money. Okay. So they don't want to give Stephanie all the money. So they're like, okay, well, this group, they always come here. So let's change up the criteria so we can get a new group over here. But let's say the new group ain't showing up. They might come back over to Stephanie's group. But if I'm not ready with my reporting from the last one, they're like, okay, well, we don't know what she did with the last money. So make sure you're taking care of that.
I appreciate that. I mean, and I think so many times we're operating under the myth that it's grant money and we just going to get something and we don't have anything that we have to be accountable to. We don't have to do anything afterwards, or tell the story or report out or pay taxes on it. All those types of business related things that are related to, securing the grant and being able to be in a position to go for the next one. So I just wanted to put exclamation point on that point. I'll let you go ahead and continue because I want to hear about this push past your ego.
Definitely, definitely. So this next one is you got to be in it to win it. So get in position. So part of you guys showing up here, that's putting yourself in position. Anything you put your focus on, anything you put your time on, anything, I mean, you can invest time, you can invest money, you can invest energy, you can invest effort. Earlier I was thinking about gardening and, people's yards. So the people who have those nice, beautiful yards, it's because they invested for somebody to come and do the yard, or it's because they invested their time and they're out there toiling and soiling and everything like that. So in the scheme of things, anything that you want, if you're saying, oh, I want to get grants, I want to get grants, and then you see somebody, oh, she knows about grants, let me ask her, I'm looking for a grant, and then you leave it at that, you're not putting yourself in position. You got to put yourself in position for the money to come to you. I spend not that much time researching grants. You know why? Because I put myself in position. When I find a funding institution, agency, organization, I get on their email list. I sign up for their newsletter. They send me information. I follow them on social media. So that way the information is coming to me. Being a part of this workshop, getting in different groups is putting yourself in position, investing your money and getting assistance from someone. And there's so many organizations out there. I invested some money Black Friday into a Black national organization that helps people with grants. Now I haven't done anything with it yet, but my goal is to be inside, with those people, with that large organization that has been doing this for years. So I'm putting myself in position. So push past your ego. Okay, so full disclosure, I said I am an artist, and I remember going to a workshop because I was like, oh, I want to get grants, and I hadn't gotten any grants before. So they were having a workshop. I was like, I'm going to go to the workshop. That's in my book too. Y'all show up. Y'all showing up here is a good thing. So I go to the workshop. I'm like, hi everybody. Yeah, this is great. I'm Stephanie, and I was trying to get funding to get illustrations for my children's book. So I applied for the grant. I got the money. I was so excited. So then, there was another opportunity. I applied for a grant. I got denied. Applied for, I got denied. So you know what I did? I stopped applying. And not for like a couple of years, probably like 5, 10 years. I didn't apply for a grant. But who did that stop? Who did that hurt? I was like, oh, they don't want to give me the money because they you know what I mean? Like my mind was talking. We was talking ish up there. Like, but who did that stop? Who did that hurt? That hurt me. So you know what? When I was like, oh, I need to be in business. So I was like, I need to fly to Vegas and go to this conference and pay all these thousands of dollars. You know who I went to? That same organization. And you know who gave me the money to do that? That same organization. But I could have been building a relationship and getting a better understanding and learning more. Again, I realized I don't want to give the same people the same money over and over again. But do not allow that to stop you. You have to push past your ego. Everybody I follow up with, everybody I reach out to, they're not nice. They're just not. But that's okay because I'm not trying to be invited over for dinner. I'm trying to, make it so they're like, okay, we'll give her a check here. That's my goal. So push past your ego and, make sure you do what it is that you need to do to help you. Do your due diligence. So due diligence has a lot to do with what I just talked about, showing up. So you guys showing up to this workshop. So I'm super excited if you saw my name and you're like, oh, I'm going to show up. It's Stephanie R. Bridges to her workshop. But do you know who it really looks good to? It looks good to Impact. They see y'all. They know who registered. They know who's in these seats. They know who showed up. And guess who has a check or who's passing out checks? Is Stephanie passing out checks? Stephanie ain't passing out no checks.
I don't have any money.
Right, exactly. But the organization, they are like more on the inside and they're taking those applications and screening things. So show up when MBAC is hosting a workshop, when Columbus Urban League is hosting a workshop, when GCAC is hosting a workshop. Right now it's real easy because it's online and you don't even got to come on camera. You can, watch it later or not, but show up. Go to their social media and follow them on social media. Another part of what I tell my clients in regards to due diligence is ask a question. Even if you only got a question, make up a question. Reach out to them, build a relationship, talk to the person that it is that you need to talk to. Because even though it might seem like a huge foundation or huge corporation or huge organization, it's run by human beings. If you're not on their radar, you're not on their radar. So you want to make sure you do what you can to get on the radar. And then dip, dip, dunk, jump. So, there's all kind of, I'm thinking about the jump rope, you thinking about it, when they jump in. But there's all kind of things that say, well, make sure you have this in order and make sure you have that. And before you do this or before you do that. I mean, I think it's important to present the best application that you can, but at the end of the day, all they're going to say is no. Okay, that's what they're going to say is no. And if you push past your ego, then you should be good with no and be able to move on to the next one. As much funding as I've received in grants, I've received more no's, and that's okay. So definitely, get in there, and then you have an opportunity to learn. You can say, oh, okay, well, maybe I didn't get it because of ABC. All right. It's free money, not easy money. So Pac said we don't want it if it's that easy, but we do. We want the easy money too. But sometimes with grants, it does take some work. So we want to work smarter and not harder. We want to use our calendars. We want to use reminders. We want to be in groups where people are reminding us of information because it's it's easy to forget a deadline. It's easy to forget, oh, I was supposed to do ABC, but by steeping yourself and putting yourself in position, that's a good thing. Saving everything that you wrote. So you did one grant and you wrote this beautiful, soliloquy about your business and your love for the community. Make sure you save that answer. You can use that answer again. You can use that information again. Make sure you have your documents on deck. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. But whether that's your resume or your curriculum vitae or just whatever it is that you need to have, make sure you have those items on deck. Because I have a client, literally, I'll go in and do a grant and it might take me 30, 45 minutes. And I'll be like, well, this is just information. By the time I ask you, you could have had it done. She'll go in and do the same grant. And she'll be like, oh, well, my doctor's ready. It only took me 15 minutes because she got her stuff like boom, 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 boom. Now that does speak to organization skills too, but definitely you just want to have, everything ready so you don't have to invest as much time. And a lot of the funders will ask you for the same information. Identify your money, gather low hanging fruit. We'll put those two together. I talked to somebody and she was like, well, I went for, there's lots of grants out there and I go for them too. I went for the Hennessy grant and I went for the PayPal grant and I went for the blah, blah, blah grant and I went for the grant. And I'm like, well, did you go for any like local grants? Did you know what I mean? Like the city, county, state, did you do any of that? She's like, oh, well, no, I didn't know. I didn't know. So a lot of people in Columbus eat because we share information, because I share information. I'm one of the people. There's a group, there's more people than just me who are sharing information, but I'm one of the people that shares a lot of information to a lot of people. But I actually have clients in other places and I've reached out to their government agencies and organizations as well. And I'm like, well, the state of Ohio is doing ABC, but it doesn't, can you tell me what you guys are doing with your CARES Act dollars? They'll send me a link and be like, dude, this is what we're doing. But do you know what? That same state, they opened up money. And now my client was able to get 10 stacks because not only when you're dealing with local agencies, you got to think you live there, you're a taxpayer. Okay.
Mm.
So not only is that, your money because you're like, hey, I got a business, that's my money. But literally, you pay your city, your state, your county, so reach out to them if you're not in, Columbus, Ohio. Even the suburbs had grants, y'all. And I live in the city of Columbus, so I wasn't able to get those, but go for the low hanging fruit. I'm not saying don't go for the other grants and do that. Please do continue, but don't just roll your eyes. And the other thing that happens when you gather that low hanging fruit, it helps you build your grant muscles. You start having confidence. You're like, oh, I got this one. Oh, I know why they ain't give me that one. Oh, we about to, you know what I'm saying? So you can start recognizing when you're going for those larger dollars and figuring out what it is you need to do to be in position to get those.
And I think what you're saying right there is so important because you need to have a strategy. And that's all you're saying is go for more than just one. Don't look at just the big one, look at all the other ones. And I love, love, love what you said about if you live in that community, you're a taxpayer. Use the resources that are local and nearest to you. And here's a Columbus Urban League / impact plug. We have a weekly blog that comes out called the We Care blog. Some of y'all might read it, some of y'all might not, but I encourage you to open it up because it is full of local community resource information to help you with your business, from grant opportunities to learning events like this to matchmaking meetings. Hey, if you want a contract, we're going to point you in the right direction. So I just think I love your energy right now. Keep it going, Stephanie. You're doing such a great job.
Yes, that is so important. I'm so glad you shouted yourself out because I get the weekly update. How do you think I find out about grants and when they drop, when the money's going to be available? It is through organizations like Impact, local organizations. So I don't just do the national. I definitely am big in regards to local foundations and organizations as well. All right, so what you talking about, Willis? So, you know, grants, everybody has their own jargon, their own lingo, their own way of stating things. So that's something that I do try to share is, what exactly something means and what audience are you speaking to? I think that's something that is sometimes difficult for people, especially if you're an artist or you're a social enterprise, and you also have a business. Because that's the thing about it. You can get grant funding if you have all three, you can get grant funding from all three. If you have different businesses, you can get money for your different businesses. But you have to remember who it is that's providing those dollars. So if they're providing dollars for my publishing company, and I'm spending time talking to them about my poetry, and I want to send them a poem, and they're like, what? They want to know about my business. They want my EIN. They don't okay, artsy, but that's not what their interest is. But if I'm going for a grant that's for writers specifically, not only is it okay if my writing is a little more elaborate and story-ish, but they'll usually give me more space to write. You know what I mean? And you'll see that they'll ask for different things. Y'all, we're gonna get to it. But business grants ask for business documents. Like they want you. I try to tell people like there's the front of the house and then there's the back of the house. You can have a beautiful showroom. I got a nice showroom, y'all. I can hook your showroom up. But if your back of the house ain't right, then you're gonna have problems with the business grants. There's other grants, but you're gonna have problems with the business grants. But the beauty of that is that's going to help you get your back of the house in order. You know what I mean? And that's what it's there for. So ask questions if you need clarification. I asked a question to Janine the other day about a couple of different grants. And one, I just think I wasn't, reading it correctly. So those go hand in hand, reread, rewrite, reassure. So when you're reading through guidelines, don't read guidelines one time. So I see a lot of information and I'll scan stuff and I'll be like, oh, that's not for me. That's not for me. That's not for me. But if I think something is for me or for one of my clients, and granted, I probably missed stuff that I could have gotten. But if I see something that is for me that or for one of my clients, I reread it. And if I'm like, oh, well, I got this question, I ask for clarification. And when I'm writing stuff, I rewrite it. If something's not right, then I'll rewrite it. If they have somebody who's going to act as a liaison, which the Columbus Urban League and MBAC did with a lot of the fundings, I'm like, did you? Okay, I'm gonna send them the information. I'm gonna say, can we meet? I'm gonna say, okay, did you read what I wrote? Is it okay? Is this line okay? Should I change this? And when they give me feedback and say, oh, I would do this like that, I do this like that. Like that's, you know what I'm saying? When they giving it to you like that, and that speaks to that low hanging fruit. That you mean you gonna give me a person that's gonna come on that I can talk to, that's gonna tell me, oh, you should do this like this, or you should do that like that, or this is what, man, we in there. So that's what you talking about, Willis. All right, so here we go. I think this is Janine's favorite part. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Now you can see my outfit ain't looking too good. I ain't looking excited no more. I'm just like, because y'all, this is that business portion of it. And I'm in the same boat with each and every, not each and every one of you, because some of y'all about it. Some of y'all about y'all's business. And I try to surround myself with people who are about their business. When I take on grant clients, it's because they're about their business. It's not because they're amazing artists or they do so much for the community. I'm listening for words like CFO. I'm listening for words like accountant. I'm listening to see if they have a banking relationship. Like that's the kind of stuff that's making me say, oh, we can eat. I'll take you on as a client. But if you ain't got your books in order, if you ain't got your back of the house in order, there's some low hanging fruit, but we both ain't gonna be able to eat on that. That's gonna be gone that fast, and you're gonna be mad. You're gonna be mad at me. I owe you how much? That was easy. They gave me somebody else to even help me with that. I don't want to hear it. So if I came to me and said, Stephanie, will you be my grant writer? I would say, Stephanie, no. Because you need to get the back of your house in order. I have always done my taxes. Y'all know I'm not doing my taxes. I will never do my own taxes ever, ever again. I have, you do what you know for as long as you can, but you have got to get in order. People call, reach out to me, are interested in getting grants, and they've never even filed their business taxes ever. Now, I'm not saying there may not be no funding out there for you, but I would be kind of trepidatious about saying I do A, B, C, D when you ain't reported to that you do A, B, C, and D. You know what I mean?
Repeat. I'm gonna need you to repeat.
I personally would be a little trepidatious about saying and writing in a document that I have a particular business that I run, but I've never written in a document and said I have a particular business that I run. like it just doesn't work like that. And I've done stuff, and we've all done stuff, and I'm not saying illegally, but I'm saying like as far as like our taxes and stuff are concerned, sometimes we don't want to show all the revenue that we brought in. Sometimes we want to be able to write certain things off, or certain money came in this way and we didn't blah blah blah. But now when you're doing these grants, a lot of them I've gotten through the first rounds, a lot of the national grants. But when I start sending in my documents and they start looking at my revenue, they're like, well, what? You want us to give you a grant that's 10 times like you don't even make you don't even have that money coming in. You didn't have it before COVID. So you think we gonna give it to you because of COVID? Like literally, you have to know that you just have to have your business in. And I'm not saying that, okay, so now I'm gonna have this huge pot of revenue or anything like that. I'm not saying that everything is all everything is going to be perfect, but I'm saying I know there's some things I need to do. I know I need to start sending out 1099s. I've paid people year after year after year, for photography and for illustrations, and for all different types of things, but I wasn't sending any 1099s. I've never hired and I've never had any W-2 employees. Oh, maybe I need to, figure out my budget, because you can hire somebody part-time. Somebody can work for you 10, 15 hours a week. Okay. And that's going to help you, because they're going to be looking at that like, okay, so not only is your business bringing in revenue, but you're utilizing that revenue to help other people make money in the city, in the community, in the nation. Like you're not just making money and hoarding it, but you're hiring people. And so a lot of us will pay people, but we just pay people out of pocket. Oh yeah, come do that for me. And we'll pay them. So we don't have any record that is something that we do. So you have to have your business in order. You have to make sure you have like all your documents on deck. They want, you're registered with the state. They want to you have your EIN, just different things that they're going to ask. And I mean, you could go ahead and create certain documents, um but when one place asks for a document, when somebody says, oh, give us your curriculum vitae, or give us, I can't even think of the term that I'm thinking of in terms of business, the document that a lot of times people ask for, what create those when they're asked for, and then make sure you have your documents on deck, because it could be a last minute situation, you know what I mean, or your W-9, like, oh, we just need this, and you can hurry up and make sure, like, boom, I got that. I talked to somebody the other day. A lot of I click with a lot of business owners, and they're not necessarily my clients, but we just share information. I'm like, oh, this is out, or that is out. So they call like, oh, I got this. They reached out to me about that. Oh, they asked me for that. I was like, oh. So one person I talked to, they asked him for something. He was like, oh, I got that on my phone. He was like, yo, you asked the wrong person. I got that on my phone. Like, send me my shmoney. You know what I mean? So you gotta start making sure, know the bottom line. Like you're requesting money, and at the end of the day, that's what they're looking for. Do you understand a budget? Is what it is you're going to utilize this money for make sense? Is it going to help your bottom line? Just, because, okay, so COVID, part of it is, building back, like, oh no, we almost this and that. But a lot of the business grants, you can't pay your rent. You can't pay up your car payment. They want that money to go to your business, and they want your business to grow. So what are you utilizing for that money for, that's going to help your business grow, not just sustain? And then, always back to reporting. We have to be held accountable for the money that, we receive. And I'm not saying, for me, it's not so much like, oh, they gave me this money, so I need to make sure I show them everything I spent, the money on, so, they'll like me. It's like, oh, they gave me this money. I need to show them everything I spent it on so I can get some more money. So make sure you are ready with those reports. I think that was my last slide. So just again, let's stay in touch. Let's keep in touch. Let's link. That's my information. Let's talk. I got an Instagram and a Facebook too. I don't know what y'all might see on there though. So
I think you're awesome. I mean, we could talk about this all day long. So I'm gonna ask a couple questions and open it up in case we've got folks here that are really shy right now. And that is, talk to me about your experience in finding startup grant money. I mean, startup, my business is an idea and I need some cash to get it off the ground.
Okay, so everybody wants that startup money. And honestly, you guys, there is startup money out there, but by the time you research, by the time you find it, by the time you compete for everybody else that's looking for startup money, it is so few and far between. People want to know, what is it you've done? Like, what, my sister's on here, so I started laughing. Okay, I'm sorry. Like, what have you done with the, I mean, you can look at it biblically. Like, what have you done with the little bit that you got, with the little bit that I gave you? What are you working on? I was able to get, and I'm not even on the computer because I thought I was going to, like throw it up and be like, oh, I'm using my new computer. I was able to get a Apple computer. I didn't even know the name of it. I mean, I almost forgot, with my grant. Prior to that, and I've been in business a long time, I got 10 plus publications. I would always go to the store and buy the cheapest computer that they had. My question was, do you got one that's less expensive? Do you got one that's cheaper? Where's the cheapest computer at? Because that is where I was at. That is what I could afford. That's what it is that you have to do. You have to start. People tell me about their business ideas and they want grandiose buildings and they want to do this and want to do that. Like, well, do you have a shed? Is there a spot in the back of your house you can put people at to show that you're able to do that? Even when somebody wants to do childcare, before they'll certify them and give them Title 20, they have to have the child care up and going. They can't say, I got this idea for child care. I'm gonna have this many kids. My auntie got some kids and them got some kids. Can you give me that money now up front? No. They want to come in and see the alphabet and the letters, and the families, and see the music and stuff and be like, oh, okay, we checked out the facility that you pay out of pocket to get started. We know everything is safe. We know you have everything that you need in place, and now we're going to give you some funding. So when I was thinking in terms of like startup, for something that I wanted to do, I was thinking, okay, I should find some investors. A lot of times people feel like, well, if I get an investor, I need to pay that money back. What you need to do if you want to go the investment route, you need to get a lawyer. So yes, you need to pay for that lawyer, but to write up a contract, because investors lose money all the time. If it's in your contract that if you don't make no money, they don't make no money, then you don't owe them anything. So investors lose money, they break even. And then like I could invest in everybody on my screen. If one person makes it, I can make up all the money 10 times that I invested in everybody else and do it all over again. So crowdfunding and looking at investors and different things like that would probably be a better use of your time and energy in regards to startups.
And I think that the point that I really wanted you to make is they're few and far in between. It's between what's a fact and what's a myth. and a lot of us as entrepreneurs and business owners, we hear grant and then we come running with all our great ideas, not understanding that you have to be established. You have to show what you've done, where you've been, how you built this up to the place to where you can start accumulating some of this grant money, but looking at having a diverse strategy to capitalize your business. And first and foremost, you're always going to have to show, okay, what's your equity? What's your sweat equity? What have you put into it that's going to make any other person or entity or funder or investor want to invest in your business as well, is the way to go. So, it's all back to what you were saying. You got to be prepared. There's a proverb out there that says planning and preparation does not spoil the trip. And that's really what I think I wanted people to walk away from and understanding going after grants is being prepared, have your documents in order, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And listen, we're all at different places and understanding what it means to be ready, and that's okay. It's okay to not know, but it's not okay to stay in that place of not knowing. It's not okay to use it as an excuse to not advance your business with grant money or with other capital raising strategies. Not when you've got people like Stephanie around, you've got the Urban League around, you've got MBAC around, all of these other resources. It's just not okay to stay in that place. So, that's why we're holding this. I don't want to do all the talking because, Stephanie and I can chop it up for hours. And we only got about 6 or 7 minutes. So somebody hit me in the chat with a good question. Let's see here. I have a question. I live in Columbus, but my apparel company is online. Is there a different approach to get funding? Very nice question, Annie. Thank you. Is there a different way to go after funding, in your opinion, Stephanie, from brick and mortar to online?
I think that's an excellent question. So, in regards to funding, they are going to look at where's your business established at. So if it is in the city of Columbus, there is opportunity to, get funding that for that, the state. Like they're not going to look at just because your business is virtual or online, that's not going to stop you from getting those local funds. Now, what you might have is actually more opportunity, especially, if you hire someone who is in a different locale. But definitely, I know one person, and her business is set up as it's an entity here because she lived here for so many years of her life, but her business is elsewhere. So it's just dependent on how the grant is written up. They might say, you need a physical location in this particular city or state, or you need to have employees in this place. But she has documentation showing that her business is a state of Ohio business, even though she's still able to get funds in the other state that she currently lives.
Okay. So that's going back to really reading the grant criteria, asking questions. If you can find a contact number, email person to clarify that. And then I'm going to add in, don't count yourself out, count yourself in. Let them tell you no. Right? Don't opt out just because it's like, oh, I don't know. No, do it and let them tell you why it doesn't work. Right?
Yes, I 100% agree, because that's what I was talking about earlier. Like they said, they gave me the map and they were like, "You're not in the map." But I was like, "Wait, hold up. You sure I'm not in the map?" Because, in my mind, the way the map is drawn up, 5 miles down there, that's the map, and over across, that's the map. So why can't I be in the map? So I let them tell me no, and they share information with me about something else that is available. That's also the thing about these organizations, foundations, corporations, institutions. Sometimes when they can't help you, they like, "Oh, well, you can get such and such." If you ask them, like, even for artists, if you say, "Oh, well, you don't have anything for violinists," they'll be like, "Oh, well, I don't, but such and so does." So always ask, always let them tell you no, like Janine said, and ask questions.
Okay. Um, Last question. We have a question about, I hold dance classes, but I don't have space. I was only able to host one class last month at a rec center before the shutdown orders took place. We've been there. Any suggestions on how to move forward? The women who participated said they don't want virtual dance classes. So this is about understanding how to pivot your business. So one of the workshops we had an executive series, and the words came out that, you know, when the pandemic hit, people went into the fetal position. They going into shock. I don't know what to do. I'm not having any revenue coming in. What happens? And that's where we have to go back to our creative juices when we started the business. What was our inspiration, and reignite that into what's current and important today? How can we solve problems for our customers today? So sometimes it's about talking to them. If they're saying we don't want to do virtual classes, how else can you pivot your business so that you're still providing that valuable resource? Maybe you're doing some other type of lesson in a different format. It's written, or you're sending images. I'm not a dancer. I ain't even gonna, it's not my thing, but you find a way to pivot, but it's based on what your customers need. And I love it. I love y'all. Melissa Johnson in the chat saying, I have space. Look at the
That's what I was
community
about
coming
to say.
forward.
That is
That's
what I was
what's up.
about to say. When you start telling other business owners, because a lot of grants cut you out if you don't have space. So when you start talking to other businesses, a lot of them are like, oh, well, you can come and utilize my space. You know, they need help paying that lease as well. So that is perfect, right on.
I love it. I love it. Yay, y'all. That's awesome. So, yeah, learn how to pivot your business, think creatively, stay connected to your client, figure out what their problems are, solve those problems, and reach out to the community and one another, because we are always going to be stronger together, right? All right, y'all, my time is up. It has been a pleasure and a blessing to be with each and every one of you. Stephanie, girl, you brought the fire today, baby. I love you for it. Thank you so much. Hey, I probably won't see y'all before the beginning of the new year. Goodbye to 2020. Welcome in 2021. I wish you all prosperity, peace, and blessings. Reach out to MBAC. I'll put my email in the chat if you have questions you want to follow up. But I thank each and every one of you for all your time and attention today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, each and every one of you. Thank you.